Marvels Wolverine is confirmed woke slop. Oh boy, can't wait for this one. So the new trailer for Marvel's Insomniac's Wolverine has come out a few days ago, and I'll be honest, this has kind of taken the internet by storm, and funnily enough, a lot of terrible takes have resurfaced surrounding this game. Some people, like Darkside Phil, claim that the game is overly violent, which, don't get me wrong, we're gonna get to that take another day. And then you have people spouting the same nonsense, saying that the game is woke slop, even though it's not even out yet and we barely have any raw unedited gameplay or any indication as to how the story's gonna turn out. But let's get started.
So we finally have a trailer for Insomniac's long-awaited Wolverine game, and people are saying it looks great and lives up to the hype. And as a big fan of the character of Wolverine, it does look good to an extent.
I'm in the same boat. I think the game looks great from the trailers, and I'm excited to see what happens in the future. Do I think the game is going to succeed? Well, time will tell. But I find it pretty funny that he's trying to compliment the game, whilst also saying that it's woke slop in the title. Contradictory much?
Because throughout all of these trailers and posts, people are leaving out one crucial detail. And I'm not going to clickbait you or try to make you watch the entire video. I'm just going to tell it to you straight. This game is confirmed as feminist garbage.
How can the game be good to an extent in one sentence and feminist garbage in another? Like, are you just trying to sit on the fence with this one, whilst also betraying how you truly feel? Now, unfortunately, there is a ginormous segment of his video that I'm going to fast forward. The reason being is because it offers literally nothing to what I'm about to be talking about. He basically gives a bit of background as to who Wolverine is, he goes over some of his history in the comic books, the versions of Wolverine that he likes in the comic books, and there's nothing wrong with this at all. You know, everyone has their preferences, but it's not really relevant to the Insomniac Wolverine game, so we're going to fast forward past it. Although he does chat shit about Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, just thought I'd let you know.
But that takes me to the Wolverine game, which I'm not really going to be all negative about and say that it looks like total garbage, because it doesn't.
Well, that's funny, because you said it was feminist garbage 2 seconds ago, so make up your mind.
As a Wolverine fan, you can't resist that the game is set in Tokyo and Madripoor, two locations that are taken straight from the great comics of Wolverine. And that seems to be the case with this game. There's a lot of stuff taken straight from the comics.
That's a good thing about the game. A lot of things are taken from the comics. Meanwhile, it's still feminist garbage, apparently. Really goes to show how people on the internet truly base their feelings about a game. You could make something 95% comic accurate and add a little bit of quote-unquote wokeness, and they'll still find a way to trash the fucking thing.
Like the fact that you have the brown and tan suit and the patch suit. And just a quick side note about the patch era of Wolverine. Many people do not know what that is. And you shouldn't really call yourself a Wolverine fan if you haven't done the research or even read these comics.
You heard it here first, folks. You should not call yourself a fan of a comic book character if all you've watched are the films. What's that? The Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy got you into Spider-Man? Nope, fake fan. You didn't read like 40 years of comic books. Saying shit like you're not a true fan of a fictional character really does say that you should get some H2O and some soap. Once again, I'm fast forwarding part of his video where he goes on a bit of a tangent about a specific Wolverine run in the comics that he really likes, and he mentions how that specific suit is going to be in the Insomniac Wolverine game, which again, borders on being a compliment. So please explain why the game is feminist garbage and also good simultaneously.
So I will have to give massive respect to the game for doing that. And as you can see from the trailers, it does look great. Wolverine riding a motorcycle with Arkham-style stealth and combat. And by God, as a Daredevil and Wolverine fan, we do need a proper game like this.
Arkham combat and stealth? What the fuck are you talking about? I swear literally every fucking video game nowadays has Arkham combat according to these guys. I made a video, god, probably a year ago now, going over the differences between Arkham and Insomniac Spider-Man combat. These games do not have the same combat. Please stop throwing this buzzword around. And this is something that I wouldn't want in the Wolverine game, because with a character as brutal and efficient at killing as Wolverine, I don't think that Arkham combat or Insomniac Spider-Man combat would be appropriate for the character, nor the tone of the game. Something more akin to God of War, or even Warhammer Space Marines 2, I think would be more appropriate for Wolverine.
And that is one of the problems with this game. It just looks like God of War mixed with Arkham and Spider-Man. And speaking of Spider-Man, that leads me into the main issue of this game. Now, I was positive for a bit. The game does look badass, but at the same time, why is the suit some tactical Christopher Nolan variation instead of the actual character's costume? Why does Logan look and sound nothing like his character?
First of all, Wolverine's costume in this game is very comic accurate. From the stripes on his shoulders to the color scheme, everything is really good here. Logan himself also looks very similar to the comic counterparts. Also, it's a little weird that you're criticizing the black and yellow suit this much, meanwhile you praised the times in the comics that Wolverine wore a Casanova suit. An outfit that didn't resemble the black and yellows at all. And also, what the fuck do you mean his voice is very different to the comic book? It's a fucking book. The voice that you have for Wolverine is how you interpret how the character would sound. You can't listen to the pages of a book and hear an actual voice, you fucking idiot. And if your only argument at that point is Wolverine doesn't sound like how I want him to sound, well, that's an entirely subjective opinion and offers no value in an objective debate. There have been many voice actors for Wolverine over the years, and this could be how some people perfectly envisioned him to sound. It might not be for others. You literally cannot prove what you are trying to say here.
But more importantly, this is Insomniac we're dealing with. The people who gave us Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2.
I mean, if you want to get petty about it, the comic books that you simp for so heavily gave us Miles Morales like 6 or 7 years before Insomniac did. So, little awkward.
I got Spider-Man 2 because I was a really big fan of Spider-Man at the time and wanted a good Spider-Man game that stayed faithful to the character. And I thought I was gonna get that, but what did I get instead? A big load of gay black people.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Aside from the Homecoming mission, name me any gay black people in Spider-Man 2.
Hey, do you want to play as Miles Morales, the fake Spider-Man?
No, the fake Spider-Man is in the side mission of the PS4 game.
Going around at festivals with other people of color. And do you also want to play as his deaf girlfriend for some reason? And all of the female characters are feminist bitches like Mary Jane Watson in Spider-Man 2.
Insomniac MJ can't catch a break, cliche. See Cinema Sins, I can do it too.
So how is that gonna mix? Wolverine, a character who is always dealing with femme fatales like a New War detective, is instead gonna get punched in the nuts by some bitch.
By your logic, literally any time Wolverine has ever taken an L to a female character in the past means that it's automatically woke slop. I guess you really hate the 2000 X-Men film, don't you?
And you can already see some of this from the leaks. Now I probably have to watch my words here, or maybe I don't, because nobody really gives a crap. But how do I say this without getting myself in trouble? Using the internet, let's just say I borrowed a little sneak peek of Wolverine a few months ago. I'm not lying, I managed to get it up and running, and I'll tell you the truth. This game is hiding something that it's not showing anybody in any of the trailers. You don't just play as Wolverine in this game, you also have to play as Jean Grey in these 4 sections that go on for way too long.
Okay, and what's the problem with that? At the very least in Marvel's Wolverine, you're playing as alternate female characters that actually have superpowers, unlike in the Insomniac Spider-Man games, where you have to take control of characters that have no abilities whatsoever. Is it a problem in Arkham City that you take control of Catwoman, or in Arkham Knight when you take control as Nightwing? The thing that's frustrating about this is that you could bet money on the fact that Ranting for Vengeance would be singing a different tune if you could play as characters like Deadpool, Omega Red, or fuck, even characters like Gambit, but the fact that it's a female character, that's suddenly too much for you?
Yeah, nobody's telling you that, and Jean Grey is not a feminist character, but knowing Insomniac, they're gonna make her insufferable.
You literally have no proof that that's the case, even in the unfinished build of the game that you yourself have played. You're literally speculating the worst case scenario just because you don't like the previous work of the company.
And also, the game is called Wolverine. Why am I playing as 2 different characters?
Because multiple characters can coexist in a story. If most of the runtime is spent playing as Wolverine, I don't see what the issue is here, especially if the other characters you play as, such as Jean Grey or maybe even Mystique, as long as those characters are fun to play as, I don't see what the issue is.
Literally, right now, I'll tell you from first-hand experience. The Logan in this game is weak and gay and not at all masculine.
So he's weak and gay according to you, but in the background footage of your own video, and indeed in your own compliments, you acknowledge that he's badass and the game is what you want, and also the background footage shows him easily dismantling things and looking badass.
You know, like the exact opposite of Logan. And you have to play as Jean Grey for full sections of the game.
Oh wow, you have to play as a character that has very interesting abilities that could very well make for a very fun time in a video game. Guarantee this guy would not be saying this shit if you got to play as the Hulk in this game.
But as a fan of Wolverine, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do. And that means I might even just play this game. But I am warning you that this game is gonna be feminist and it is gonna be woke.
With your only evidence being trust me, bro. Like, I'm serious, that's all you've given us.
I'm just too big a fan of the character to give up an opportunity to play an actual Wolverine game. But this game is 100% without a doubt political. And not even political, it's just shit.
It can't be that shit if you're still gonna buy and play the game.
Who wants to play as Jean Grey? There's tons of different characters you could have played as. Maybe Kitty Pryde. Like, you know, the classic Chris Claremont run, Kitty Pryde and Wolverine.
Bro, shut the fuck up. If they had chosen Kitty Pryde in this game, you would have said, oh, the game's woke because pride flags and she has pride in her name and it's Insomniac who made the game. Like, guaranteed that's what this Muppet would say if they chose Kitty Pryde instead of Jean Grey.
No, instead you have to play as Jean Grey.
Who would you rather play as? A character who can go invisible or a character that can control the environment with her mind? I'd pick option B, personally. Like, Wolverine, even by your own words, can do stealth. We don't need a second character to do stealth. Jean Grey's powers could be very interesting to experience in a video game if done right.
But as I said, all that stuff aside, it is a game where you're going to be able to wear the patch outfit, the classic brown and tan. You're going to be able to ride a motorbike through Tokyo like Wolverine would. So I would take this game as a win, but there is going to be some insufferable feminism.
Again, if you're still gonna play the game and the game is an absolute win, why are you this angry towards it? Like, evidently you don't care enough about the wokeism to the point where it's putting you off from buying the game. That's clearly not the case, so why are you this angry towards it? I feel like most people just don't care. Most people don't look at female characters in a video game and cry rainbow flags.
And that's just my last point. We can't get a proper Wolverine game where he looks and acts badass and masculine like the character. Instead, there has to be a tacked on chunk of wokeness and feminism. And no real fan of the comics and the character of Wolverine actually wants this. So the people who made this decision to inject feminism, screw you.
What's that? You're gatekeeping fucking comic book characters? Well, the doctor has come back with your results. He prescribes you fresh air and maybe a haircut. You're starting to look like a dog.
So that was just a quick video. It's kind of annoying that we have to put up with feminism and wokeness. You can't just get a normal game.
Again, I'm inclined to just not believe what you're saying because you've cited no sources in your video, nor have you actually shown any evidence on screen. Like, yeah, this is Insomniac, and yeah, wokeness could still very well be in the game, but I feel like if this was the case, we would have known about it by now. The game was leaked on PC for years now, and the internet clearly gets angry anytime that there is, oh, woke propaganda. I feel like we would have heard about this by now. I really want you to cite your source because I feel like it starts with B and ends in bullshit.
That sounds like I'm saying the same thing over and over, but it really is the truth. Screw these miserable people who can't give the fans what they want.
I feel like the developers are indeed giving the fans what they want, because what the fans want is a very good video game. They probably don't give a shit about female characters being an integral part of the story. And sure, you have a point. This game may not appeal to people like you who have been in the basement so long that you've got less sunlight than Madeleine McCann. However, to the casual audience who read comic books whenever they like or watch the TV shows or are a big lover of Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine, I'm sure that they will find a lot of enjoyment in this new Wolverine game. But time will tell. But again, the game doesn't release until late next year, so it could release and be shit. It could release and be the best thing ever. Unfortunately, we just don't know yet. Regarding my own thoughts and feelings towards Marvel's Wolverine, I want it to succeed, but I can't help but be cautious about the game, given how much it's been delayed and how much of a disappointment Spider-Man 2's story was for me. I thank you all for watching. I'm the Gaming Rift. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you all in the next one.